city attorney has submitted the results of its investigation into the Asiana Airlines crash. The report to the NTSB credits what it calls the rescues and firefighting successes to the city's first responders. It also gives us a glimpse now of what the city's legal arguments will be against future claims. ABC 7 News reporter Vic Lee is on the story.
The report says 5 people were ejected from the Boeing 777 when it crashed in July. 2 crew members were seriously injured but survived. Of the 3 passengers, 2 died at the scene and 1 died later at a hospital. The city attorney's report highlights information which it says it gathered from the NTSB investigation and other agencies. Included in the report is that Ye Ming Yuan did not have her seatbelt buckled when the plane crashed. Yuan's body was found outside the jetliner. It was determined later that she had been run over by 2 fire trucks. The report also says the other teen who died on the runway may not have had her seatbelt on. SFO spokesman Doug Yackel.
A post-accident analysis of the seatbelts suggested that they were still intact and, by our belief, had not been used at the time of the accident.
The report also implies that a flight attendant did not check to see if everyone had their seatbelts on. A passenger testified to NTSB investigators that Yuan was not wearing her seatbelt. Also, that a flight attendant told her to buckle up, but she did not recall him reminding anyone else.
This information points to the fact that we believe that these passengers may have been ejected from the aircraft during the crash sequence.
The report's proposed finding is that the physical trauma of the ejection was a direct cause of death of passengers 41D, 41E, which was where Yuan was sitting, and 42A. But the city attorney's report contradicts what San Mateo County Coroner Robert Focroft found, that Yuan was alive after she was apparently ejected, and she most likely died from being run over by the fire truck.
She has crushing injuries that are consistent with a motor vehicle. If there was another incident prior to that, it would be very difficult at this time to, find out which ones those were.
Hastings Law professor David Levine says what we're seeing is the city's legal position against future claims.
But you can see what the fire department is doing. They're trying to disclaim responsibility on the grounds that she had already been deceased. They were not allowed to move the body. They were moving, in an emergency situation. It was a very unfortunate accident, but it was not negligence.
There have been conflicting reports on what happened that day. Some argue that 16-year-old Ye Ming Yuan was carried onto the runway. The city report says 2 crew members were ejected. We've reported previously that the number was 3. The city attorney declined our request for an interview, and our calls to Yuan's attorneys and Asiana Airlines were not returned. Vic Lee, ABC 7 News.